Thank you for stopping by our channel. Today's video will provide a clear explanation as to why and how the universe was created and why it still appears to exist. I learned something years ago, and that was that if you hear something that makes absolute sense, then most likely it's true. Take what you will from this video and add it to your spiritual arsenal. Always remember to keep your truth in mind at all times. The audiobook has the best explanation of this concept. I'll leave the link to it below this video.
The Disappearance of the Universe by Gary Renard is a non-dual spiritual text presented as a dialogue between the author and two ascended masters, Arten and Pursah. The book purports to be an uncompromising introduction to A Course in Miracles, ACIM, a channeled text that forms the philosophical bedrock of Renard's work. To understand how the universe came into being according to the disappearance of the universe, one must delve into the Course's unique metaphysical framework, which fundamentally redefines reality, creation, and our perceived existence. The non-dual foundation. God is pure oneness. At the core of Renard's explanation, mirroring ACIM, is the concept of God as absolute undifferentiated oneness. God is pure love, spirit, and perfect being. In this state of ultimate reality, there is no separation, no duality, no time, and no space. Everything that is real is part of God and exists eternally within this perfect unity. God did not create the universe as a separate entity outside of himself, because if he did, it would imply a division within perfect oneness, which is impossible. The tiny mad idea and the birth of the ego. The universe as we perceive it, with its bodies, planets, stars, time, suffering, and death, is not God's creation. Instead, it is explained as the result of a tiny mad idea that arose in the mind of the Son of God, which is collective humanity, or the Christ mind. This tiny mad idea was the thought of separation from God, a momentary lapse into the belief that it was possible to exist apart from perfect oneness. This seemingly insignificant thought gave rise to the ego. The ego is defined not as a true entity, but as a thought system based on the belief in separation, individuality, guilt, fear, and the idea that we have successfully usurped God's place. The ego's fundamental purpose is to maintain this illusion of separation and to hide the guilt of having seemingly attacked God by separating from him. The universe as a projection of guilt. To accomplish its goal of perpetuating separation, the ego projected this internal guilt and fear outwards. The physical universe, with all its seeming solidity and complexity, is therefore not external reality, but a massive projection of the collective egoic mind. It is a dream, an illusion, a hallucination, or a spell that the Son of God cast upon itself. Think of it like this. If you have a deep unconscious guilt, your mind might project a nightmare where you are being punished or experiencing suffering. In the context of the disappearance of the universe, the entire cosmos, including our bodies and all perceived suffering, is a grand, elaborate nightmare concocted by the ego to validate its own existence and to distract us from our true, unified, and innocent nature as part of God. Time and space. These are not inherent realities, but constructs of the ego, designed to provide a framework for the illusion of separation. Without time, there could be no past, in which separation occurred, and no future, in which atonement is needed. Without space, there could be no here versus there, no individual bodies existing apart from each other. Individuality in bodies. Our perceived individual identities and physical bodies are also part of this illusion. They are the ego's chosen means of reinforcing the idea that we are separate and distinct from each other and from God. Through bodies, the ego perpetuates the concepts of birth, aging, sickness, and death, all of which serve to obscure our eternal, unchangeable spiritual reality. Suffering and conflict. These are the inevitable outcomes of believing in separation. When we perceive ourselves as separate, we naturally experience fear, competition, judgment, and the belief that we can be attacked or harmed. All forms of suffering are seen as symptoms of the underlying belief in separation. The role of the Holy Spirit and forgiveness. Within this illusory framework, the disappearance of the universe emphasizes the critical role of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is presented as the voice for God, the memory of God's oneness, which resides within the split mind of the Son of God. It is the part of our mind that never truly left God and holds the truth. The Holy Spirit's function is to reinterpret the ego's projections. Instead of seeing the world as real and separate, the Holy Spirit helps us to see it as a dream, a lesson, or an opportunity for forgiveness. Forgiveness in the context of the disappearance of the universe is not about pardoning sins that truly occurred. Rather, it is the process of recognizing that there was no sin. It is realizing that the attack, the separation, and the world itself are all illusions. True forgiveness involves recognizing the world as a projection, understanding that what we see out there is a reflection of our own mind's belief in separation and guilt, overlooking the illusion, choosing to see past the forms and bodies to the eternal Christ in everyone, recognizing their true innocence, surrendering egoic interpretations, giving up our judgments, grievances, and interpretations of events to the Holy Spirit for reinterpretation. By consistently practicing this form of forgiveness, we gradually undo the ego's thought system. As the collective mind of the Son of God forgives its belief in separation, the illusory universe, which is merely a projection of that belief, will begin to disappear. The ultimate disappearance. The title of the book, The Disappearance of the Universe, refers to this ultimate outcome. As humanity collectively awakens from the dream of separation, through the consistent practice of forgiveness guided by the Holy Spirit, the universe will simply fade away because its underlying cause, the belief in separation, will have been removed. What will be left is the eternal, changeless reality of God's oneness, where we always were and always will be, having never truly left. In essence, the disappearance of the universe presents a radical shift in perspective. The universe is not a divine creation, but a self-made illusion designed to obscure our true identity and our eternal connection with God. Its creation was a misstep, and its disappearance is the destined return to the perfect reality that never changed.